Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Victoria 2 Historical Flavor Mod, where we are playing as Ethiopia, or as we are now known to the world, Abyssinia. Well, when we last left off, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I failed pretty damn hard, so I think it's fair that I start the video maybe with an explanation of why. Because I can tell you, it wasn't my fault at all, it was all the stupid game's fault. I played perfectly. Well, no, not really. Ultimately, I lost sight of the fact that other countries can declare war on me just as well as I can declare war on other countries. That was the big one. I lost track of Gondar's 5-year timer. Another big one is I overstretched Tigre's abilities. I dragged on the war with Egypt for probably at least a year too long. I tried to get too much out of a country which doesn't start with too many capabilities in terms of raising large armies and is largely dependent on RNG or the skill of your leaders, which again is dependent largely on RNG. So, because one big problem that hampers Tigray is, first of all, it does not have the Oromo as an accepted culture, and Oromo is even at this stage in the game, the largest population group within Ethiopia's cores. And second, and more importantly, Tigray is the only one of the main Ethiopian miners that starts with no grain RGOs. And grain RGOs are, as much as they're not, the fancier ones, the ones that'll get you more money, grain RGOs are necessary for sustaining large populations, and particularly large soldier populations. I didn't have many of those. I also got unlucky, and above all else, I made a major strategic error in terms of how long I allowed that Egyptian war to go on, because the margin of error when you're starting as an unciv miner in Victoria 2 is very small. You can be destroyed at any minute, pretty much. So now let's make some new decisions. I see we're encouraging soldiers. We don't want to be doing that. Not anymore. May have had a bit of something to do with how they defeated us, but right now we want to be encouraging intellectuals here in Begemder. Because, again, our literacy rate needs to increase, and increase fast. We're also going to need to build our army up to maximum capacity, make sure that Egypt, which, as it turns out, has become independent and is now in the French sphere of influence. Now, on the one hand, they are an unciv, but I believe, since they are in the French sphere of influence, if I declare war on them, unless I am, say, in the French sphere of influence myself, or they really like me, they will declare a defensive war in order to stop me. And fortunately, the only thing they can declare war for is to maintain the status quo, so I wouldn't end up getting, say, annexed by France. But it's probably inadvisable for me to attack any further there, and, the only territory they have are their cores anyway. So I still have cores here and here, so I could probably finish my expansion job there. Maybe let my infamy cool a bit, build up some money reserves. Because, again, overexpansion probably was what doomed me in the first place. But, as I continue to add reforms, I may want to take foreign training methods so I can conquer some neighbors and get some research points out of that. There's one in particular I am going to need to declare war on in probably a couple of decades. I'll get to which one it needs to be in when it happens, but it's something that is basically beyond the realm of realism that will be done for gamey economic reasons. Although the gamey economic reasons are reasons I have chosen to better explain how the historical flavor mod works. In any case, we now have to wait for our army to build up so we can claim our remaining cores, among other things. Now, our most profitable export for now is probably going to be coffee. See, here's a big one. If you had noticed the our needs chart as we were playing as Tigray, you saw a lot of yellow and red when we were playing as Tigray. We were not able to get enough food food basically. I mean, yeah, that was so. Yeah, that's you can't really conquer an area the size almost twice the size of Texas if you can't even feed the people doing it. We are going to speed things up some. Split our force into 2 sub-forces. Now, because Herrera and Kaffa appear to be allies, we'll probably be taking them both out at once, so that's helpful. And I'd like to roll better generals. Anyway, let's declare that war to restore order right now. France seems to be more active in Africa. I'll be honest, I am surprised that Britain did not intervene on the Ottomans' behalf. Quite surprised. The because again, as I've said, it was something that Britain was frankly obsessed with. They even absolutely absolutely kneecapped Muhammad Ali Pasha's attempt to industrialize Egypt because they did not want anyone competing with their exports. What the shit? Come on. That's embarrassing. Well, that explains it. He's got -1 attack. Damn, are there any generals here that don't suck? I guess this one is the least sucky. Should be replacing Ali II with, I might go into the files and replace Ali II, because he's gone, you know? He's been exiled to the mountain to which former leaders in Ethiopia were often exiled, or members of the royal family who might have challenged the current emperor. Okay. Good. I was hoping I would not need to send 40,000 men to kill 6,000. That would be rather embarrassing. I'm going to need better leaders at some point. Let's stop messing around and get to occupying. All right, adding the war goal now. Adding the war goal now. No, we got bigger things in mind. Well, one bigger thing in mind. Okay, let's take a look at the economy of Ethiopian Harage. Slavery is not really a significant part of it. Gain a bit of consciousness, that's useful. Okay, we have all our cores. Now that jingoism is less important, let's switch to the conservative, or to the royal faction. Let me hold up. So here's they are proposing a legation quarter. Generally, I will take anything that will give me a research points modifier. Um, it's going to boost some reactionary sentiment, but pretty much everything along those lines does. Meantime, I think the infamy cost for this is pretty low. So even if I get caught, and there's some grain RGOs, and you know, it's something to do with my time, I guess. That's a good reason to go to war, isn't it? I'm wondering, though, about Egypt. If there's anything, if I can claim this from them. Because at some point I'm going to want to take the whole horn, although the infamy cost of conquest is pretty high at this point. Yeah, not a whole lot to say just yet in this first post-Theodoran Let's Play video. Most of what I will have to say from the historical front is going to be in writing as well. All right, we have the CB. Acquired near the max amount of infamy for it, but that couldn't be helped. Unlike most of its neighbors, it's all colonial territory rather than state territory, so the cost to claim it is low. That's where all of Sudan and the general Sud area is, because it was at the time a colonial possession of the Khedivate of Egypt. In the meantime, we are going to be in a bit of a lull for probably a couple of years at least. I may end up skipping past that point and going straight to whenever our next war happens to be, or next interesting happening around the world, but let's be honest, probably a war. So, here we have our newly created Ethiopia. Now it only remains for us to A, make Ethiopians, and B, probably make a little more Ethiopia somewhere around here. Until then, this seems like a good place to end the video. So I've been Merukati. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.